Growing Up Latina, take one. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Glowing Up Latina.
Hi.
Hey. I'm Christina.
I'm Amanda.
And I'm Liana.
Thank you so much for coming back and hanging out with us. We love to see y'all here, virtually. Today we're going to be talking about the pressure to succeed, kind of how that manifests for us, where we feel that pressure come from. We'll probably touch on our work lives a little bit. I feel like we've talked about it enough. Y'all get the gist of what we do. But yeah, and I think it should be a pretty good episode. What about y'all?
Yes.
I'm excited to see where it takes us, what we talk about, what we share.
Yeah.
I love oversharing.
Yes.
That's something I really got to work on, though.
Oh, yes. Same. Overshare. Yeah.
No, I love a good overshare moment. I'm like, oh, that, okay. Sorry, my bad. Love it all.
Forget what I said.
But yeah, so let's do our temperature check, guys. How are y'all doing?
Feeling good. I took the week off. So we're recording this a bit in the past. So we're still in February now. And it's been our birthday week, and I took the week off from work. And it's been so nice. I wake up, I take my dog out to the park. We have bonding moments, and then we come home. We still bond, we play and everything. It's been so nice and relaxing. It's been really good. So, yeah.
Oh, I wish I had your week.
Oh, sorry.
We'll discuss this later, but I'm still fairly new at my new job right now, so I can't take time off yet. But that's what I would have done too.
Yeah.
I have my dog. I would have I like going for walks with him to the park and reading my books. But yeah, that sounds like a good week, man. I want your week.
It was nice.
Hanging out with your dogs always makes everything better.
Right?
Yeah.
So much.
I thought I was crazy saying that. I was talking to Nora and my husband about it, being I loved this week. I was so relaxed and calm. I wasn't stressed out at all. Just being with Rex, who's my dog, it was perfect.
They're natural stress relievers.
Yeah.
If you have a dog, yeah.
Gotta love them, man. Yeah, it was me.
For me.
So you're thinking pretty mild.
Yeah, it wasn't a stressful week at the end of the week, but it was good. So far, so good. We celebrated. We went to Sugarfish. If for those of you New Yorkers, I should say.
And LA has it too.
Oh, LA too. I didn't realize. Okay, well,
nice.
Sugarfish is top tier
So good. Love
sushi. Quality is just out of this world. It just melts in your mouth. Oh my god, I love that sushi. Yeah. So, if you're in LA, if you're in New York, go try that.
Maybe we'll get big enough in Sugarfish will sponsor us.
Hey.
We can do a mukbang.
Oh my god, I would lose my mind.
Stop! I would love to. See, I get to have one episode, do my mukbang thing with all you. I wish.
It is so good. Our favorite. It's honestly, okay, I was thinking about this when we were there. If we were Sims, that would be our hangout spot. The spot hangout spot.
When the Sims call, I'll be hey, you want to hang out?
Sugarfish. Oh my god, I should look in the gallery to see if anybody has built a Sugarfish.
They probably have.
They're pretty popular.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay. So I guess for me, the week was pretty fine. Like I told y'all, and as I mentioned, I got an IP project at work, and I was very nervous about it, and I feel I kind of kept getting in my way on starting it because I wanted to do so well on it. And so, but once I got past that, I ended up, I finished it, I turned in the draft, and my supervisor, who's one of the partners with the firm, he was just why are you nervous? He was you can't break anything.
Yeah.
Don't be nervous. So it really put me at ease and made me feel a lot better. So And I think by the time you guys hear this, I'll already be done with it. Like, and we'll, like, because I think maybe, like, the beginning of March is when it's due.
Mm-hmm.
Or, like, officially, like, we're done with that particular matter. So, yeah, I just gotta stop getting in my own way. Which we'll get into a little bit today. So, I guess with that, we'll get into it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yes. So, yeah, we're going to be talking about, like, the pressure to succeed, kind of, you know, where that came from, all that good stuff. And honestly, you guys, for me, it's going to sound very silly, but I want you to remember that I was the only girl in my house and the only girl for a minute. And my dream career growing up was obviously to be a princess. Like, that's what I wanted to do. I don't know how to get that job, but I'm going to find out, and that's what I'm going to do. So that was, like, the first thing. But the first, like, real thing I remember wanting to be was actually a lawyer.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, look at you.
I wanted to be a lawyer, but I don't know. It's not sad because, like, I obviously ended up doing it, but for me, it always felt, like, a little unattainable.
Mm-hmm.
Not even, like, the financial aspect of it. It was more, like, you know, when you're watching TV and you're watching movies, like, those lawyers, like, they're white people, usually white men. I never saw, like, a media representation of somebody who, like, looked like me that was being a lawyer. So I was like, I don't know. I don't, if I'm not seeing me, then maybe, like, people like me can't do it.
Right.
So I pivoted to other things. I think there's a teacher, like, throwing that in there for a little bit. Social worker. I thought about that for a little bit, but I don't know. I just always kept, like, coming back to it. But, yeah. So lawyer, and that's what I ended up doing.
That's awesome. When I was little, I wanted to be a singer. And I tried really hard to do that. I really tried to attain those goals. Did you guys ever listen to Radio Disney when you were little? And they had those talent commercial things?
I think so, yeah.
So I went to my mom and my dad, and I was like, please, I want to do this so bad. And they tried really hard. But then after we got past the first round, we started to see, like, the talent agencies were really expensive. It was like $10,000 like up front and all that stuff. Yeah, it was a lot of money. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to do that. And then the other thing that I wanted to be was an astronaut.
So cool.
I've always been, like, very fascinated by space, by science. Like, I love those types of things and, like, trying to figure out, like, the pieces to the puzzle and everything. There was a movie that Norrin and I had watched called Interstellar.
Yes.
It blew our minds. And, like, to this day, we constantly talk about it. Like, it's
I
insane.
haven't seen that yet.
It's really good. It's with Matthew McConaughey.
Mhm.
Perfect.
There's a female lead, isn't there?
Yes.
I think I'm thinking of the wrong movie. The one I'm thinking of is Sandra Bullock and
No.
I don't know what I'm thinking of.
Anne Hathaway's in it, though.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember the name. I just feel like I'm seeing something different.
Yeah.
I
think so, yeah.
I'm gonna look it up after this.
It's a really great movie. Really makes you think about the whole universe. It's so interesting. But I wanted to be that.
I'm thinking of Gravity.
Oh, I think that's
yes. That's a different movie. Because the one with Amy Adams is called Annihilation, or is that with Natalie Portman? Whatever. Love space movies.
Sci-fi. Sci-fi is your thing. You like sci-fi.
Yeah. But obviously that didn't work out either. And then I jumped around a lot. I really wanted to be a screenplay writer as well, or like a screenwriter for, like, movies and stuff. And I still kind of do. But I stopped writing for a while. I'm trying to get back into that, so we'll see. And
oh my God, Liana, we could, because so technically my, like, dream job, if I, like, could do anything in the world, would be to score music for movies and team up.
Oh my God,
I can figure out how to do that.
Let's do this. We'll start our own production company.
Yes. We don't have enough going. Just one more thing,
right?
But yeah, that's what I wanted to be when I was younger. A lot of different stuff.
I feel like somebody told me one time you have to be a certain height to be an astronaut, or maybe under a certain height.
Oh,
I can't remember.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
I think so.
Oh.
I can't honestly, you guys. Sometimes I feel like I have these things in my head, and I'm like, did you make that up or is it real?
I'm about to look it up right now,
Yeah.
but I'll do it later.
That's so funny. Like, you guys knew what you wanted to be. I didn't know. Like, growing up, I didn't know what I wanted to be.
I mean, I didn't either. I went from fucking like singer, astronaut, screenwriter.
I had no idea what I wanted to be. I guess as I got older, I knew. Okay, I played around with the idea of being a doctor. No, and then I went into like thinking about being a nurse. No.
Is it the
Um,
blood?
I think it was like, yeah, like having a
can't.
strong stomach for it, and my
You do or you don't?
it all depends. Certain things I do,
Yeah,
and certain
I
things I
agree.
don't. My mother-in-law to be, she's an RN. She's a
Okay.
registered nurse. And I remember when I was starting college or looking at colleges, she was just like, really think about what goes into like becoming a nurse, and then once you're a nurse, like these are the things you come across. And I was just like, yeah, never mind.
Perhaps not.
Perhaps not. And then like I thought about occupational therapy. It's like physical therapy, but mostly occupational therapy is more like how to go about your daily tasks, like your daily living tasks. Like,
Okay.
yeah, that's what that occupational therapy is. And I applied, and that didn't work out.
Oh, you applied?
I
didn't know
applied for
that.
OT program, and I had like the grades for it. It's just like it was a very competitive OT program, and that there aren't a lot of them, a lot of those programs here in New York.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
have to go out of state. Sucks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I didn't get into that, but then I found my way, and then like I took an interest in healthcare administration, and I enjoy that so much, which is like I guess I still found my way to be like in the medical field, but just like the back end. But the back end is just as important as taking care of actual patients, because we have to make sure that we're organized enough for the doctors, nurses, to carry out their job.
Right.
So yeah. So I found my way, and like I said, I'm a medical secretary. But I should have seen the signs, because my mom is she went to trading school right after high school. She didn't go to college, but she went to a trading school and secretarial school. And she, since 19, she's been working, and she started off as a secretary. Now she has a different title. But point is that, yeah, she used to also like take me when I was a kid. She used to take me to bring your kid to work day. And I was just like so inspired by her like organizational skills and like her typing. She types hella fast without seeing the screen, and like I do that now too. And I should have seen the signs. Like I think it was just meant for me to have like an administrative job. And like I said, I enjoy it, and I don't know why I didn't see it before, but yeah, but like I said, I enjoy my job, and I am here today. But
I mean,
yeah,
honestly, sometimes it takes us a minute to like find our way. Like with law school, honestly, like that did not feel attainable to me until I was in college.
yeah,
And cause I think I kept coming back to it and being like, okay, so what if I don't see other people who look like me being lawyers or in this profession? Like, what does that matter? So my family was like really into baseball, or is really into baseball.
So is my dad.
My grandma like loves it. We used to go to games when I was little and stuff, and I used to want to be like the first woman in the major leagues. Mind you, I played soccer, so like, I don't know how that was gonna happen. I think I did like one season of t-ball. So I don't know how that was gonna happen, but like, so I was like, okay, well, where's that person at? Where's that person who was like, so what? Like, there are no women in the major league. Who says there can't? You know what I mean? So I think that's just how it ended up. I wouldn't let it go. It was always there in the back of my mind. And once I graduated college, 'cause I graduated with a sociology degree and criminal justice, and because I was like, maybe I'll be a criminal defense lawyer, but that wasn't the route that I wanted to go. I found other things that I wanted to do in law school, because even in law school, when I got in, I had no idea what type of lawyer I wanted to be. Like I went in and I was like, I hope something speaks to me because otherwise I'm wasting a ton of money. And I did. I ended up finding IP and like some of the other stuff that interests me. So I think it just at every stage we're always trying to like find our way. Like publish. Like how did you end up from astronaut to screenwriter
to like publishing? So I am in the marketing department in a publishing house. So we work on the back end of a lot of things, which I very much enjoy. But even then, like even now, being here for 5 years, like I don't want to do this forever. Like I don't. And I have dreams of like owning my own event hall and like having like having parties and like working with clients to like have their dreams come true in my hall and stuff like that. Like that's a dream of mine. So that I'm still trying to figure out like my path there, because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So it's very much just like you gotta roll with it, you know.
Would you be like a whole party planner, or just like you would help them with your event space?
Yeah, just with my event space. I thought about being like the planner as well.
Oh, I remember that.
Yes.
She's talking about it now.
I thought about being the planner, but it's hard because I have my own vision, my own aesthetic, my own thing, you know? So it's like hearing other clients talk about what they want for their party, I would very much be like, that's not gonna look good, you know, and that's not. I don't have any right to say that,
right?
So I think it would just be safe if I just have the have the space for them,
so they can do what they want to do. Makes sense.
Exactly.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know you'll get there though.
Thanks. Maybe this podcast could help.
We'll help you find a space, and then everybody can. We'll have like glowing up Latina meetups there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
We're like 2 years ahead.
And I said that. Didn't I say that before we started recording? I was like, I can't wait for us to get like really big and we have our own space to just like do whatever.
It's all gonna come together. On this day, I promise it's gonna happen.
Manifesting is real.
It's gonna happen. Yes.
We mostly can't wait until we're big enough where we don't have to do the studio stuff.
Oh my god!
We just walk in and sit down. And just like, okay,
ready
we're
for
ready.
a close up.
Every time we're like, okay, we'll get there at 11. We'll start recording at 11. We'll be on time. 12:40, 12:30. One day we'll be very efficient. Okay, so obviously we all come from Latinx households. We know like that pressure to succeed is real. It's out there. But can you remember maybe the first time you felt a pressure to succeed?
Right after high school, like going to college. I think I mentioned this before. Like my mom. I just said that my mom didn't go to college. She went to trading school. My dad did go to college, but he dropped out. And if it was up to my parents, I don't think they would have like really pressured me to go to college. More just like getting a job, because that's what they learned after they graduated high school, was to get a job, help your family. But then I saw like my friends, again, I told you, like they went to either they went out of state, they went upstate, they went away for college. And I felt that pressure to go to college and make something of myself. Granted, it wasn't that I went away. I stayed, at home and went to college, but that's where I felt pressured to like continue with my educational career. And maybe I felt self-conscious that I wasn't going to a brand name school, but I did feel that pressure that I needed to start somewhere. And then once I started that, I felt the pressure like, okay, doctor isn't it. Okay, nurse isn't it. It's just like I was checking off those lists, and I was just like, oh, damn, like this isn't happening. It's not working out the way I planned in my head what's going to happen. And I was putting a lot of pressure on myself. And again, Constantine, here comes Constantine to the rescue. And he goes, like, he would always, like, give me my pep talks. And he'd be like, you can do anything. And my mom, too, she saw it, too. She was just like, you can do anything, as you know, you have to put your heart into it. You just don't do something because everybody else is doing it. Do it for yourself. And that's I did learn that at the end. But that's where I felt that pressure at the very beginning. And now that I have my career, I feel pressure in the sense of always being on top. I can be very competitive at work. I can. I have those moments where I need to be the golden child, so to speak. Like, but then you also have to realize like the type of work environment, if that work environment appreciates how far you can go, like above and beyond. Because if they don't see that, and if you're not getting a pat on the head, why are you killing yourself to do all that?
Because then eventually it becomes like expected of you.
Yes. Right. So I've also learned that too. So I pressure myself in the sense, okay, Amanda, you have to get all of your work tasks done, but also like give yourself some breathing room. Like it's okay to walk away and give yourself a break. So yeah. So that's where I feel that pressure come in. I don't know about you guys, but
no, and I feel like it makes sense because I don't know. When I was growing up, college was like so heavily, despite like lack of a better word, marketed. It was like if you weren't going to college, then you weren't doing anything with your life, and that's not the case. Like I feel maybe now, hopefully now it's a little different, but people are starting to realize like you can make a decent living and go to a trade school or do something else. Like college isn't the end all be all, because first of all, you end up in like mad debt for the most part. Yeah. And even if I had gone to school in state, stayed home and all that, law school, like I would have never in a million years be able to pay for law school out of pocket. Like my dream is that my children, like if they wanted to do something like that, I could help them do that. But paying for law school out of pocket, like to me, still honestly, it sounds like a fantasy. Like I don't know who can pay for like a law school or a medical school or like even grad school sometimes out of pocket. Yeah. So I understood. I 100% understand that. Mine was a little earlier though. I was like in 4th grade.
Ma'am.
I was like in 4th grade.
You know what? I'm gonna go back to that. I did actually, yes.
And it was mostly I am very bad at math. Like I feel like part of that's in my head now. I feel like I established for like 18 years or whatever, you're bad at math. So now I just think I am. Obviously, I can do simple addition and subtraction, multiplication, all that stuff. But like the math that we were learning in school, I just like was not good at it. It took me a little longer than everybody else to get it. And when we were in 4th grade, we were learning our multiplication tables. And every time you learned a row, you got to add to like a little sundae diagram, like an ice cream sundae. And at the end of it, when everybody had all their ice cream sundaes like built, then we would have an ice cream sundae party. And I was holding the class up. And I was like, and I was like very like insecure about it. And my teacher like took me out in the hall and was like working with me on it. And I just felt like so singled out because like they didn't hide the fact that I was the one holding the class back. And I was like, oh my God. Everybody's going to hate me. Get it together, Christina. But yeah, so that was like, I think like the first time that I recognized or have like a memory of was that stupid multiplication table. And now ask me what kind of teacher my mom is.
Oh my God.
She's a math teacher. Your mom. She is a math teacher. But you know, my mom, like, it just wasn't my strong suit. My brother, my middle brother, excels at math. So good at it.
Wow.
I was a reading person. Right. History. Like that was the stuff that I excelled at. And I had really good teachers later on who like helped me and like made it a little bit easier for me to feel okay working with math. But man, when I was holding everybody up to get their freaking ice cream sundaes, I was like, bro, get it together. What are you doing?
Oh, that's so funny because you said 4th grade and multiplication. So that set off something in the back of my memory bank where I also felt pressure there too. I guess you bring up things and like I think about it. Like, I try to bury it. I never think about it ever again.
No,
but
that's right there.
There was one time, I don't know, it must have been like a family event, and my dad had asked my cousin, who's the same age as me, what's this times this? He was questioning him about his multiplication tables, and then he goes, "You see, Amanda, see, your cousin knows his multiplication tables.
Oh,
How come you don't?"
no.
Yeah, and I was just like, I stood quiet. I was like, "Bro, you're my dad. Why are we having this conversation right now in front of all of your family?" And that stuck with me. And I just didn't know how to feel. Like, you're a kid, right?
Yeah.
I think that's one thing, like, when you do it in front of like people who are not your family members, but it's like in front of my family. It's just like, fuck. And yeah, he was just like, "Yeah, you see, he knows his multiplication tables. How come you don't know it? Da, 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 da." And it's not that I don't do well under pressure. Like, he was asking me, like, I was just like, what the fuck?
I don't know. Why don't you know them? I don't know.
Yeah. Or how about, you see, we can go really deep into this right now, and I'm not gonna say anything, but I'm just saying, like, if he made more time, maybe I would know them by then. But
that's on period.
So yeah. But yeah.
I will say my mom was very good about like not doing that because it was very clear early on that my brother excelled at math.
Mm-hmm.
And like when we got older, he would help me with my homework and stuff. And like I'm the older sibling. Like, what are you doing? Like, so that was also fun. It was just like a whole thing. But my mom was very good about like never being like, your brother knows this, why don't you? Because children excel at different things.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
I don't.
I think the first time you talking about like the stars and the Sunday brought me back to kindergarten when I got in trouble for the first time, and I don't even know what I did. Obviously, I was fucking 5 years old. And the assistant teacher, I guess she thought like I gave her a face or like I was causing too much like distraction in the class. Again, don't remember what I was doing. She took off my star. I already had it up there for the day. I was gonna get a lollipop. And I didn't get it. So that was like the first time that I felt like that sort of pressure because I had like my chart was all stars. I always had the star. And then she didn't give me one. She took it away. And I was like, this bitch really fucking took my star. She really fucking took my star. And then like after that, I put the pressure on myself to be better in class. Mm-hmm. That was the first time that I felt that. And then from my parents, I've always felt like that sort of pressure to be a good student, to be a good, like, well-mannered person. Like, all my mom had to do was give me a look. And that was it. That was all I needed to know. It'd be like, I need to get my shit straight right now.
Yeah.
So, but everything, like, in general, like, to be, like, a successful person, I felt it the very, very first time when I was in 6th grade. And as you guys know, like, we had lived in PA at that time. So it was a new school, new environment, like, new everything. And I was not doing well in school, like, at all. Which, now that I look back on it, it's like, well, obviously I wasn't doing well in school. Like, I fucking hated it. And it was the first time that I got a 38 on a math test. And my dad.
That was a regular day for me.
Yeah, not a regular day. Because.
I'm just kidding.
No, I thought you were saying that's a regular day for me. I'm sorry.
It's a regular day for me. It wasn't that bad. I exaggerate.
I'm sorry. I misunderstood.
Oh, man.
And wow. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but my dad also wasn't living with us when we were in PA. So because he stayed here in New York to work to help my mom, because my mom couldn't get a job in PA yet because she couldn't drive. So my dad and I had that kind of like relationship where he used to teach me math. Like, he was like my math tutor because he was always really good at math. And every time I messed up in math, he got really mad at me, and I was just like, look, Dad, I got 100 on my test. So the first time that I failed that math test, my mom comes to me and she was like, your dad wants to talk to you on the phone. I'm like, okay. And I knew it was about the test. And I just remember him telling me, like, hey, like, you have to concentrate, you have to do better, you have to study, and all that stuff. And I know it comes from a good place. That's like, he wasn't trying to be he wasn't mad, but I could hear the disappointment in his voice. And I was just like, I really didn't do a good job. And so, like, that carried on. I still did really bad in that school, but
no, that's like a really big transition.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
So that was the very first time that I like felt it. But
I think like so after like 4th grade, I feel like I constantly like felt a pressure to like be good at what you were doing, like succeed. And obviously like some of that comes from my family. Some of it comes from my family, some of it comes from like society, like with society. So my mom was very young. My mom was a single mother. We were Mexican. And then like I was a girl. Like I had all these checks.
Right.
And I feel like society like kind of expected a family that looked like ours to fail. And so like I felt that. And then my mom also just like she wanted us to do really, again, it comes from a loving place. It doesn't come from like this evil or malicious place. Like she wanted us to succeed and just be able to live as functioning adults. And so a big thing in our house, like for college, it was never like if you go to college or if this happens. It was always when I go to college or like when you go to college, this will happen. And so I think that language also, it was very, very good. I loved that language. And honestly, it's one of the things that I would even do with my own children because I don't think it necessarily put a pressure on me. It really just put in my head that I could do it.
Yeah.
Which I think like is also something that you need as a kid. But I know that like I always felt like this very overall, because this is the third place where pressure comes from, is from myself. Like I always put this very like big pressure on myself to be good, to succeed at whatever I do, to be the best at it.
Yeah.
And it could be something as simple as like filling out a piece of paper. Like I want to be the first person to get it in. I want it to be neat. I want you to be able to read my handwriting, not have any questions. Like something so stupid. And I feel like, yes, obviously my family puts pressure on me to succeed, but I feel like sometimes, I think I talked about this in a different episode, where I put the pressure on myself, but I also like, I think my family is putting more pressure on me than I think, if that makes sense. Like,
right, like you're assuming that
I like have it in my head that they would just want me to be like, I can't think of like a famous lawyer. Johnny Cochran is the first person that comes to my head. Like, or like somebody who just like makes all this money and has all this stature, and really like all my family wants is for me to be happy. But you know, families, they don't always like make the greatest decisions.
Yeah.
Right. Like you said, you have in your head you think that your family has higher expectations than you do, right? And I kind of felt that way once I was already in college and I was going part-time, like I mentioned before, and I took a break. Like I took a year break because I just, again, things weren't going according to plan, and I was just, crap, what do I do next? And I think I felt like my family, like they were looking at me like, she spent all this time like in college and now she's like taking a year off. Is she gonna ever go back? Is she gonna finish? Like I felt that pressure. And then one of my cousins, she had just finished earning her license to become a stenographer. And like, congratulations to her because that's not easy. Also,
like a court reporter.
Oh, sorry, ultrasound technician.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know what I was thinking. Okay,
so they're called stenographers. Yeah.
Cool.
And I also wanted to be that too. Wow. Yeah, I wanted to be that too. But she had finished she got her license for that. And I was still not done with my undergrad, and I was like, crap, what's going on? And I really did feel like I was in my head a lot, of like thinking my family was judging me, but like you said, your family just wants to see you happy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I made it through. I got I got my degrees. Yeah. But yeah, it's really hard. And even like it's as a kid too, you do get those familial pressures. Like again, going back to my dad, he was just always about, so what the heck is with the math thing? Like he was also good at math. Like he's very good at math. He was just always on me about like, okay, look, Dad, I got like an 85 or a 95. So what happened to the 100?
Oh my God, my mom used to do that.
So what happens to the 100? Where did you get that wrong? Like what? Hello? And it was just like, oh well, I thought like I did well because I didn't fail. I passed.
Yeah, I used to get so mad at her.
Yeah.
Like I remember it. Like
yeah.
And again, she didn't say it like in a bad way. she would be like, oh, but what happened to the other 5? I'm just like, but Mom, I got a 95
Like,
though.
that's great.
Yeah.
Like,
But it's like they just want to see you be the best of the best because
Yes.
you're their child.
yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So they want to see you like perfect.
Mhm.
You know?
I think it's taken me like later in life to understand that like we are a reflection of our parents.
Yeah.
And so like as much as like they want to look good, yes, but also like they want us to look good mostly for us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think sometimes I'm so scared of disappointing everybody.
Yes.
So
That's
scared.
That's where the pressure comes in.
Yes, because
Yeah.
and it's I feel like it's because I think we're all the oldest,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So like being the oldest, it's just like you're setting an example for everybody, and it's like, okay, so everybody's like, okay, look at what Christina's doing, look at this, which I really don't advocate for. Like, don't pit your siblings or your cousins or your children against each other.
No.
It doesn't do anything but create animosity between them.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But everybody's just like, well, what is Christina doing? What's going on with Christina? And it's just like, sometimes Christina's not doing okay.
I'm not perfect.
Sometimes I'm just chilling.
Sometimes I don't know what's going on. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I gotta figure it out. But even like today, being almost 30 years old, I am so scared that I'll do something tomorrow that will disappoint everybody. And the reality is like things like that, like they take time, first of all. It's like a series of like little choices you make that end up coming to like a big thing. But
this is a perfect example. My husband and I were moving, as everyone knows. And the pressure that we feel from like our family, because we're moving to a smaller space, like it's a studio, we have a 1-bedroom right now, and the pressure that both our families are giving to us, like, oh, it's too far, oh, it's like, are you sure you're making the right choice, and are you like positive that this is the good decision, like all these things that again come from a good place, but then they plant themselves in your head, and you're just like constantly doubting, like, oh, I don't know if this is actually a good idea. Are we actually making a good choice?
Yeah.
Right.
But the only way we'll know that is if we do it.
Yeah.
There you go.
And like the world will not end if you live a little further out in Queens.
Right?
Like it's
Thank
not
you.
like anything crazy, but yeah. I think like I struggle with that, and I know that you do too. Like I struggle with like I cannot reiterate this enough. I am terrified of disappointing anybody, and I think I'm finally learning though, very little. Like I haven't learned it all the way yet. That like my family, they really just want to see me happy,
Yes,
and if they like truly love and care about me, like all they care about is she happy? Is she taking care of herself? Does she have enough money to take care of herself? You know, that kind of stuff. Like, and I think it took me a really long time to understand that about my mom. That yes, my mom wanted me to be the best. But that doesn't mean I have to make millions of dollars. Like, she just wants me to make sure, like, whatever I chose to do is what I wanted to do, and that I'm happy in that choice.
Yeah. But you do bring up a good idea, like a good point regarding like, look at Christina, look at Amanda, look at Liana. Do not make me that example for everyone else. It's, I mean, maybe,
I'm
but like.
Up. That's
first of all, I don't know what I'm doing.
None of us know what we're doing,
like,
ever.
Thank you for acknowledging my accomplishments. And however, do not, don't pressure your kid to be like Amanda, to be like Christina, to be like Liana. Do not do that. And I think that's probably like you brought that up. Like now I'm like, I wonder if like my dad is doing that to my brothers. You know what I mean? Like don't. They will get there on their own time, but do not make it seem like, well, Amanda did this by this time. You see how he did it with my cousin?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's probably doing it at home. So like, don't do that, Daddy. It's not nice. But yeah, everybody does their thing in their own time. And look how long it took me, but I did it. But we get pressure from a lot of ends. And I think another pressure that I didn't get to mention was after my parents like split up, like I think so many things could have happened to me. Like I could have like
society tells you that so many things like can go wrong.
When parents divorce. Like I could have I didn't want to end up like the stereotype, like getting pregnant You know, so I worked hard. I was hard on myself. My mom too. She was, you know, she was like, Amanda, make sure you be careful with what you do, who you hang out with, like. And then I started going out with Constantine, and she was
Oh
just
my
like,
god, you were young too. Your mom's
Yeah.
yeah.
What did I tell you?
Yeah, she's just like, please be careful, like da da da. I was like, yes, mommy, I know, and I did. We made sure that we were very careful, and I didn't want to disappoint my mom, and I also didn't want to disappoint my family, but like also myself, like be stuck in a situation that I know that I could have prevented.
Yeah.
So that was a lot. That was a lot of pressure because I'm sure a lot of people were just waiting
Yeah.
to see what was gonna happen.
That's how I feel sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes people were just like, Christina's gonna mess up at some point. What is she gonna do? And I definitely have. But that's between me, my mom, and my Mimi. Like the things that I've messed up on, and I'm okay. Like I've recovered from it. It's fine. I think like pitting family against each other, it just doesn't work. I know for me personally, like, well, I'm gonna do better because it's awful how competitive I am. Like it's disgusting, and it's so I'm just like, well, I'm gonna do something better, but it doesn't. For the most part, it does not work, and you don't get anything out of it.
Right.
So
I definitely feel the pressure now too. I know I don't know why I'm talking a lot about him in this episode, but my husband and I, when we first got married, we were 26 and he was 25, and we definitely felt the pressure from like other family members, like, or I assumed that they were thinking, like, oh, you guys are getting married way too young, you guys are not gonna make it, and I feel that pressure now. Like I feel like people are waiting for us to fuck up and like not make it.
Yeah,
that's crazy because you know people got married so young,
right?
Like,
that's what I keep telling them, and I'm just like,
you.
oh, sorry, I hit the mic. But like, I think an aunt told me once, and maybe it was a dream or whatever, but I have a memory of someone talking to me being like, oh, you sure you want to get married? Like, you're really young. Like, don't you want to, like, live more and all that stuff?
Right.
And I'm like, I am in love with my best friend. What is the problem?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
And we will live.
What age did you get married? And you have 3 beautiful kids. You have, like, you know, everything. So, what, like, I don't understand, like, why you feel you need to tell me I'm getting married too young. You know?
I think, okay, so then you should, like, she said you should live your life. I think some of that comes from, like, that's just how it was then. And they probably wish, like, they could have lived their lives. I don't even, maybe sometimes older people don't think that it's an option that you can live your life, like, with your best friend.
Right.
And, like, you can grow separately and together and still be in the relationship.
Yeah.
Because I think about that a lot. My mom was, like, very big on, like, do not get pregnant, like, do not, like, live your life, like, do what you have to do, and then you can, like, settle down. It worked out, obviously, but now she's, like, grandkids, when's that gonna happen? I'm
my God,
I don't know what to tell you.
That's another pressure.
I'm living my life. Like, you told me to live my life. That's what's happening.
Exactly.
But, I don't know, it really gets hard, especially when it comes to our careers. Like, I want to be good at what I do. I want to be successful. Preach. I want people to be proud of me.
Right.
Preach.
And I know that they are. Like, I know it in my head, but my anxiety, you guys, it talks to me, and it's just like, you're not doing enough.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like, you should be further along.
And that's definitely, like, the negative impact that pressure
Exactly.
has on us. Because, like, it happened
negative.
so young. I feel it's happened so young to us that now we carry that, and it's, like, ingrained. Like, as we're older now,
100%.
Like, that feeling to have to be perfect on everything. Like, I don't, was it you that you were, like, filling out a paper that you have to be the first one and all that stuff? Like,
So
if I'm filling out a form, like, and I make a mistake on it, like, I need a new form.
Can I get a new form?
Like, I can't have any scratches.
Like, just scratch it out.
Yeah, no, like, I cannot. Like, those, why? Like, you carry that forever. Like, and nothing is perfect. That's one thing that we have to know. Like, we cannot be perfect.
Yeah. Even in starting this podcast,
right?
Like, how many times I've bothered y'all about something, like the most minute little thing, because I start getting into my
your head,
right?
And I'm like, wait, no, that's not working, or like, this doesn't seem good. Like, our agendas, you guys, we've changed the format. I don't know how many fucking times. And it's all been me because I'm like, no, this looks better. No, this is better. And it's, you guys don't see them. You don't.
No.
And you
Yeah.
probably never will.
Well,
Like,
right.
I don't. It's so ridiculous. And you're right. Like, that's the negative impacts of this pressure that, like, we feel other people put on us. Because I know for me, it manifests in, like, I feel undeserving of most things. I'm like, how did I get this? How did
Yeah.
someone like me end up here?
Really?
Yeah, it's really like
Wow.
sometimes I'll wake up and I'm like, wow, I fucking live in New York. Like, that's crazy. I've been here 10 years now. Like, it's old news at this point. Nobody cares. But and I'm working on, like, mostly it's like, because I could have done more. I
Mhm.
could have worked harder. I could have been better. Like, I went to an okay law school. Why didn't you go to a great law school, Christina? Like, that's crazy. Like, I still, like, you know how many people go to law school and don't finish? Like, I still finished.
Huh.
Like,
I've seen it through Constantine, and his like classmates, but you still went to law school. Like getting accepted into law school isn't easy to
Mhm.
begin with.
No.
So fuck if
No.
you you went to an okay law school and not an excellent or superb law school. You still went to law school. You got in.
and it's the same for undergrad. I'm like, you went to an okay college. Like, if you would have done better, and I still think about this, it's so stupid because, like, I'm so far removed from it, but I'm like, if you would have done better in high school, you could have gone to a better college, which means you would have gone to a better law school. It's a whole mess.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like, that's, like, that is in my head 100%. And it comes from, like, the pressure that I've put on myself, other people have put on me. Sometimes, I had, like, counselors in high school who would make, like, really snide remarks about, like, what I would end up doing. And it's also, like, a pressure to prove other people wrong.
Right.
Like, you said I was going to end up this way, and I ended up the complete opposite of what you thought I was going to be.
Right.
So, those, I don't know. The negative implications, I'll say, I obviously don't like them.
No.
The positive things that have come out of it have
Yeah.
Bust
outweighed.
your
Yes.
ass to be like, you bust your ass to be perfect, knowing that you cannot be perfect.
That's a
But
good
then
way
you
to put
always
it.
end up
That's a
with,
good way
like,
to put
a
it.
really good work product. Like, honestly, again, to, like, come back to our podcast, like, the final product has turned out so beautiful. We've done such a great job on it because we give 110%. I know, round of applause. So, and also for me, like, in a weird way, it gives me confidence. Because, like, okay, when I was studying for the bar, at some point, for weeks, to my mom on the phone, I'd crying. I think one time I called her, like, at 10 p.m. And I was like, I can't pass. I don't know what I'm doing. And she was like, Christina, you're okay. It's okay. But one time we were talking, and it was towards the end. And I think, I don't know if everybody experiences this, but towards the end of bar prep, I just got, like, this very calm, like, serene feeling surrounding me. And I was like, whatever happens, whatever happens, it is. Yeah. But I was talking to my mom, and I was like, there has never been anything in my life that I've truly wanted and actually, like, truly worked hard for that hasn't worked out for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I've put in the work these past 6-8 weeks. I've done what I needed to do. So this is going to work out for me because that's the only way that it can.
Yeah.
Right.
Thankfully it did.
Yeah.
I would have been very upset if it didn't. But I think I was able to feel confident in that because I knew that the work that I put in was good. And I honestly, I don't know if I could have put that work in if I hadn't, like, put pressure on myself or felt pressure from other places. So a little bit of it's good,
Yeah.
I
mean, don't crush people, but, like,
right. But yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
You with that pressure, yes, there are a lot of negative things that come with it, but you really just give 110% to everything when you have your mindset to it.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing because the end product is always going to be the best that it can
Yeah.
be.
Definitely. The positive is the outcomes.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah. And you have, like, that sense of, like, I fucking did that.
Oh, yeah.
And that is irreplaceable, that feeling.
So, like, that feeling you were saying, like, you wake up and you're like, damn, I live in New York. I think I had that feeling this week where I sat down in my living room and I go, damn, like, this is my apartment.
Yeah.
Like, I work hard for this. Like, this is my home.
Mm-hmm.
I could do whatever Like, I want to go back home. So it's like, wow, we did it, man. Like, we got here, we did it. It happened. So yeah.
Like, this podcast would not be happening if none of us gave 110%.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
With
And
all the other things we do.
Exactly, because I was thinking about this the other day. Like, our meetings on Wednesday, like, they're late. They usually last long, and I know we're all tired from like work and. Well, I know you stay up till like in the middle of the night.
5 a.m. in the
I
morning.
can do Liliana.
Amanda and I go to bed.
I stay awake
at like 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
So like, but still, like you're usually like coming home from the gym or something, and you still have to make dinner. Like, it's a lot, and you're right. I don't think it would have happened if we weren't the kind of people who like just committed to like this is something we really wanted, so we did it.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, I love that about us. I love that that's what the way that it took. And I think, as weird as it sounds, this podcast has like helped me manage like my stress, because if I'm being honest, like the pressure that I feel, I do not handle stress well usually.
Yeah.
I'm not great at it.
Girl.
But honestly, I think the way that I tend to handle it is that I'll work until I literally cannot, and then I disappear from like the world. I don't answer. I think I answer my mom, and that's about it. And everybody else like just falls to the wayside. But like when you have like you guys are depending on me to do my part, so I can't disappear. So I have to learn how to manage those things, and it's been really great for that, honestly.
Yeah.
How do you guys handle all that stress? Give me some tips.
For me, I like to do very brain numbing activities. Like I
know it's coming up.
Like, yep. I play The Sims for hours on end. Like hours on end, nonstop. I think there was one time I took off work. No, it was during the holiday break that they give us. And I had one day where I didn't have any like things to do. Sat on the couch right over there, over my little laptop. It was, what time was it? It was like 11 a.m. The next time I looked at the clock, it was like 4 p.m.
I should say in the morning.
No, 4 p.m. And I was like, I should probably get something to eat. And like those days are so refreshing to me because it's like my brain needed to just turn off.
Yeah.
And like not think about anything other than the fact that my son needed to eat.
Or that something's glitching with one of the mods you put
in.
That shit me off. I don't want to play this anymore.
But yeah, I love to do like brain numbing activities. Like I'll do my nails. I'll watch a like reality TV show that doesn't like require any kind of brain power.
Yeah, exactly. I love doing that. Yeah, it has to be reality TV. 90 Day Fiance.
Oh my god, I love that show.
In particular, reading just for leisure. Like I forget. Like I guess after like being in school for so many years, I stopped reading. But now I go back to reading because now I enjoy it and I want to read. So reading, watching stupidity TV is what I like to call reality TV shows. Doing my nails, like I just like Liana, you do your own nails. I was doing that for a little bit during the pandemic because nothing to do. But now I've gone back to getting my nails done at a salon, and I just love that time for myself. Like that is my time, and no one can take that away from me. Like I don't care not that I don't care how much I spend, but like that's. I work hard, so I'm gonna go and get my nails done. I'm gonna go get my pedicure. Like that's how I manage, all the pressure and the stress that I go through.
You know what I really like to do, which is something that I started doing during the pandemic? I love to build Legos.
I think you mentioned this once.
I love to build Legos. Like I've done a Harley Davidson motorcycle. I've done like a Whataburger. The Met Stadium. I did the Friends apartments and then Friends Central Park.
So cool.
Yeah, those are I love to do those things. They're so fun. My mom actually was the one who was buying me my sets. Oh, they're so good. God, they're so expensive though. Like the one that I really want at the moment. Okay, no. The one that I really, really want is the Titanic. The Titanic, but that thing is like, I want to say almost $700.
No.
Yes, it is massive. Yes.
700?
Titanic, yeah. You have to look it up. It is massive. Crazy.
For little thingies.
No. It's
Okay.
like, it's really big. I want to say it's almost 3 feet long. I could be wrong. It's
But
big.
some of those, like those little.
The
they're
piece,
like,
yeah.
those
You know,
pieces
I
are
actually don't know
tiny.
how I would do with my nails right now. I feel like it
That's
might be too frustrating.
That's true.
But yeah, the other one that I really want to get next though is the typewriter.
Oh,
And
you
then
said
like it like actually like types.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
What
Oh
is
my
it?
God,
It
you're
doesn't
making a
have
whole
to-
Lego movie.
I love the Legos. Like, and it's because it's one of those like mind-numbing things. Like I don't have to think about anything
No.
else while I'm
You're
doing
just
it.
following the instructions. Okay, this is what I have to do. Okay.
And I really love like the methodical like process of it.
Right.
Like that's what I'm focusing on,
Yeah.
and it makes me feel better. I used to do them actually when I would go home for the holidays and during my winter breaks in law school because I'd be so like burnt out. And then it was great. It was a great way. I love Legos.
Paint by numbers. You know what paint by numbers is?
Oh,
I love
yeah.
paint by numbers where you have the stencil basically and then you just have to follow, okay, dark
Mhm.
purple is number 4. I love doing the paint by numbers.
Yeah.
Or even there's a what are they called? They're called like stress color books, anxiety.
Oh,
yes.
yes.
I love coloring. Like I love
I do love those things.
Yeah.
They do stress me out when I get out of the lines. And I'm like, this picture's messed up. It's not perfect anymore. I don't know what to do with it. Get out of my face.
But I get that from my
So-
mom. Like my mom would do that. Like when she was my age, or like maybe in her early 20s, she was like a big like just coloring books. And I guess maybe I got that from her, and I just like I ran with it.
Yeah.
It's a good way to just.
I have an app. I like a paint by numbers app. Obviously, I love that because I can't mess up. So.
There's an app that I think maybe not. It's called Hue,
Mhm.
Hue, and it's like a color puzzle that you have to like align the little blocks to then make the hue of the color gradient. It's very frustrating when the colors look very similar. So I don't know if you'd like that, but it's very mind numbing though.
Let's look that up right
I'll
now.
have to look it up. Well, that
Wow.
was pretty good. I thought
Yeah.
that was good. We did good. Round of applause for us.
Yay!
As always, though, you guys, let us know like where you feel pressure come from or how you deal with it. If you need advice, we're probably not the people to ask, but we'll help in any way that we
I
can.
want to do like an advice column, not an advice column, but like a mini-sode advice. Episode?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
I just said like 5 of the same words.
I know what you're saying. Let us know. We love to hear from you guys.
Yes.
Of course. Get back to us. Let us know.
Yeah, and remember you can catch us every Wednesdays wherever you listen to your podcasts, and here on YouTube. Make sure to leave us a glowing review on Apple and Spotify.
And you can always leave us a comment at on Instagram at Glowing Up Latina, and send us feedback as well. Email us at glowinguplatina@gmail.com.
And that's it. That's a wrap, y'all.
And until next week, you guys, keep glowing, mija.
Bye.